and please stay motivated, and you will get what you work for, not what you wish for. So work hard and succeed earlier. And today's topic is soil science, set 1. First question: mineral matter in soil constitutes for dash percentage: 45, 25, 50, 5, 75. Answer is 45 percentage. This is the composition of soil on volume basis. Mineral matter is, as I told, 45 percentage. Organic matter 5 percentage. Soil water 25%. Soil air 25%. It's soil components. And composition of atmospheric air by volume is nitrogen 78.08 percentage, oxygen 20.9 percentage, carbon dioxide 0.03 percentage, and other gases is 0.93 percentage. Next, which of the following is a sedimentary rock? Quartzite, basalt, gabbro, slate, limestone. Answer is limestone. This is the points to remember. In rocks, we classify as igneous, sedimentary, metamorphic, and in igneous, intrusive and extrusive. In intrusive, examples are gabbro and granite. Extrusive is basalt and rhyolite. And in sedimentary, clastic and chemical. In clastic, sandstone and shale. And in chemical, limestone. And for metamorphic, foliated and non-foliated. In foliated, slate and schist. And non-foliated, quartzite and marble. Next, illite is an example for dash clay mineral: 2:2, 2:1 expanding, 2:1 non-expanding, 1:1 none of the above. Answer is 2:1 non-expanding. 1:1 clay mineral is kaolinite, and 2:1 non-expanding clay minerals examples are black mica, that is biotite mica, white mica, muscovite mica, and weathered mica, illite mica. And 2:1 expanding clay minerals are partially expanding, that is vermiculite, and fully expanding, that is montmorillonite. And 2:2 clay mineral is chlorite. Next, during soil formation, the parent material transported from their place of origin, transportation and redeposition occurs through gravity is called aeolian, loess or aeolian, alluvium, colluvium, lacustrine. Answer is colluvium. Colluvium means transported by action of gravity. Alluvium means the material transported and deposited by water. And lacustrine consists of materials that have settled out of the quiet water of lakes. And moraine is through the action of glacial ice or of water. And loess or aeolian is through wind blown materials. And aeolian means the soil developed on such transported parent materials bear the name of the parent material, that is alluvial soils from alluvium, colluvial soils from colluvium, etc. Next, the topography refers to the differences in elevation of land surface on a broad scale. Slope percentage for undulating land surface is 5 to 10, 2 to 7, 10 to 15, 2 to 5, more than 15 percentage. Answer is 5 to 10 percentage. This is the land surface and their slopes. For flat to almost flat, slopes are 0 to 2 percentage. Gently undulating means 2 to 5 percentage. Undulating means 5 to 10. Rolling 10 to 15. Hilly means 15 to 30 percentage. And steeply dissect means more than 30% with moderate range of elevation. And mountainous means more than 30% with great range of elevation. Next, the process of deposition of soil materials in the lower horizon is termed as humification, alluviation, calcification, solonization. Answer is alluviation. Humification means the process of transformation of raw organic matter into humus, and alluviation means the mobilization and translocation of certain horizon, that is A to or E horizon. Alluviation means the process of deposition of soil materials removed from the alluvial horizon in the lower horizon, that is B horizons, especially BT. Calcification, the process of precipitation and accumulation of calcium carbonate in some part of the profile. Solonization or alkalization means the process involves the accumulation of sodium ions on the exchange complex of the clay, resulting in the formation of sodic soils. Next, according to IEEE, size of silt particles is 0.0 to 0.2 mm, 0.002 to 0.02, less than 0.002, 0.002 to 0.5 mm, 0.5 to 0.1 mm. Answer is 0.002 to 0.02 mm. This is the table according to USDA and IEEE. In case of USDA, clay particles diameter is less than 0.002, silt is 0.002 to 0.05, and very fine means 0.05 to 0.1, fine sand is 0.1 to 0.25, medium sand 0.25 to 0.5, coarse sand 0.5 to 1, very coarse sand 1 to 2 mm. According to IEEE, clay less than 0.002, silt 0.002 to 0.02, fine sand 0.02 to 0.2, coarse sand 0.2 to 2 mm. Next, the woven dry weight of a unit volume of soil inclusive of pore spaces is called bulk density. Bulk density of clay soil is 1.1, 1.3, 1.5, 1.4, 1.6. Answer is 1.1. This is the textural class bulk density and pore space. For sandy soil, bulk density will be around 1.6 and pore space 40%, and for loam 1.4 is bulk density and 47% of pore space, and for silt loam bulk density will be 1.3 and pore space will be 50%, and for clay bulk density 1.1 and pore space is 58%. Next, what is the PF value at field capacity? 2.7, 2.34, 4.5, 2.54, 7. Answer is 2.54. This is the moisture class, tension and PF value, and highlighted part are very important. And in this case, hygroscopic tension will be around 31 to 10,000 atmospheric, and PF value of that is 4.5 to 7. And for wilting point, its tension is 15, and the PF value of that is 4.2. And in capillary, 1.3 1 by 3 to 31 will be tension, and 2.54 to 4.5 is PF value. And for field capacity, 1 by 3 is tension, and 2.54 is the PF value. Next, what is the optimum soil temperature for maize crop? 20 degrees Celsius, 25 to 35 degrees Celsius, 17 degrees Celsius, 15 to 20 degrees Celsius, 40 degrees Celsius. Answer is 25 to 35 degrees Celsius. This is the range, and for maize and wheat, optimum range for maize in degrees Celsius is 25 to 35 as I told, and for wheat 15 to 27. And for growth range, required temperature for maize is 10 to 39, and for wheat is 5 to 35 degrees Celsius. And survival limit range for maize is 0 to 43, and for wheat is 0 to 43. And soil pH required is for microbes grow best at pH range of 6 to 8, and but are severely inhibited below pH 4.5 and above 8.5. And next, what is the ideal pH for most of the crops? 6 to 7, 7 to 8, 7.5 to 9, 4 to 7, 7. Answer is 6 to 7. Most plants perform best in the soil that is slightly acidic to neutral, that is 6 to 7, and ideal pH for available phosphorus is 6.5 to 7.5. And if pH value is more than 8.5, the fixation will be more, and also if the pH value will be is less than 6.5, the fixation will be more. Which of the following is a major nutrient? Calcium, carbon, boron, nitrogen, hydrogen. Answer is nitrogen. Primary or major nutrients are NPK, and secondary nutrients are calcium, magnesium and sulfur, and micronutrients which require in smaller quantity are example iron, manganese, zinc, copper, boron, molybdenum, chlorine and nickel, and structural nutrients are carbon, hydrogen and oxygen. Zinc is absorbed by plants in the form of Zn2+, Zn+, Zn2-, Zn and Zn-. Answer is Zn2+. These are the forms of nutrients for plants absorption. Major one are nitrogen in the form of NH4 plus, NO3 minus, and organic nitrogen, and phosphorus H2PO4 minus in case of primary, and HPO4 2 minus, it's secondary orthophosphates, and for potassium K plus, calcium K2, Ca2 plus, magnesium Mg2 plus, and for sulfur SO3 minus, that is sulfate, and SO4 minus, and this is the table, and please remember once. Next, which of the following is an aerobic and free living nitrogen fixer? Biserinckia, Rhizobium, Actinomycetes, Frankia, Azotobacter, Cyanobacter. Answer is Azotobacter. This is the table of organisms and their properties. As I told, Azotobacter aerobic and free living, and Azospirillum microaerobic rhizobacteria and free fixers, and Rhizobium symbiotic, Actinomycetes, Frankia, Biserinckia are symbiotic, and Cyanobacteria photoautotrophic, and in Anabaena it is symbiotic. Next, the nutrient that promotes the movement of the sugars, turgor, and stem rigidity and increases the plant's overall resistance to diseases is calcium, manganese, potassium, phosphorus, nitrogen. Answer is potassium. This is the basic functions of nutrients, primary nutrients. Nitrogen, which help for basic component of proteins and chlorophyll, plays an essential role in plant growth, and phosphorus, its role in mainly in root growth and promotes the establishment of young plants, flowering, fruiting, and ripening, and photosynthesis and respiration and overall plant growth. And potassium, it promotes the movement of sugars, turgor, and stem rigidity. Overall resistance, it increases the overall resistance to cold, diseases, and insects pest. Promotes the formation of flower buds, the hardening of woody plants, and fruiting. Next, which nutrient is important part of chlorophyll and helps in fruit ripening and seeds germinate, and reinforces cell walls and promotes the absorption of phosphorus, nitrogen, and sulfur by plants? Magnesium, calcium, sulfur, boron, nickel. Answer is magnesium. This is the basic functions of secondary nutrients. That is calcium, it is a part of cell wall, and it holds them together and promotes the development of the root system and the ripening of fruits and seeds found in the growing parts of the plant, that is apex and buds. And next, magnesium, an important part of chlorophyll, helps fruit ripen and seeds to germinate. And sulfur, it contributes to chlorophyll production, helps plants to absorb potassium, calcium, and magnesium. Next, which nutrient promotes seed germination and speeds plant maturity? Iron, copper, molybdenum, chlorine, manganese. Answer is manganese. This is the basic functions of micronutrients. And first, iron, essential to chlorophyll production. Boron, essential to overall plant health and tissue growth. And in case of manganese, it's seed germination and speeds plant maturity. And molybdenum, it fixes nitrogen fixation by bacteria. And chlorine stimulates photosynthesis. Next, which nutrient strengthens cell walls and gives drought resistance by reducing water loss and prevents fungal infection? Sodium, silicon, cobalt, zinc, potassium. Answer is silicon. These are some of the nutrients and their functions. Zinc, it's an important role in the synthesis of proteins, enzymes, and growth hormones. And in case of nickel, it key component of selected enzymes involved in nitrogen metabolism and biological nitrogen fixation. And silicon strengthens cell walls, energy transfer, and drought resistance, reduces water loss, and prevents fungal infection. And cobalt, essential in nitrogen fixation. And sodium replaces potassium in certain functions in halophytic plants. For C4 plants having dicarboxylic photosynthetic pathway. And vanadium, essential for green algae. Next, clay soil contains dash percentage of clay particles: more than 12%, less than 15%, more than 70%, more than 40%, more than 80%. Answer is more than 40%. This is the classification of various textile classes like sand, silts, and loams, and their percentage. If Sandy soil means more than 70% of sand will be there and less than 50% clay material will be there. And for silt, it's more than 80% of silt and less than 12% of clay. And for clay soils, it should be around more than 40% of clay soil. Next, CN ratio of cultivated soil ranges from 10:1 to 20:1, 8:1 to 15:1, 10:1 to 12:1, 20:1 to 30:1, and 20:1 to 40:1. Answer is 8:1 to 15:1. CN ratio. When fresh plant residues are added to the soil, they are rich in carbon and poor in nitrogen. This results in wider CN ratio, that is 40:1. Decomposition of the organic matter in the soil changes to humus, resulting in a narrow CN ratio, that is 10:1. When the decomposition of fresh organic residues reaches to the stage where the CN ratio is 20:1, there is an increase in the availability of nitrogen. The CN ratio of cultivated soil ranges from 8:1 to 15:1, and average CN ratio in soils is 10:1 to 12:1, and in case of legumes and farm manure, 20:1 to 30:1, and for straw it is 100:1, and for sawdust it is 400:1. And this was the soil science part set 1. And if you find it useful, please subscribe, click the bell icon, and like and share with your friends. And thanks for watching Agriculture Adda, and thank you once again.